The Akashic Records, 4 big myths about it, this amazing energetic database. Rose here, my wife and partner Jane Montrose and I help people step up, tap into the heart and soul with holistic spiritual coaching and healing. In this short video, I want to explore the Akashic Records, the amazing energetic database that holds your, mine, and everyone's past, present, and potential futures, all the energetic imprints it's collected, this extraordinary cosmic library. And since it's not a physical or digital library, there's a lot of misconceptions about it. I want to clear up a few of those myths, 4 of them specifically. So by understanding it more, you can access and use the incredible resource, this Akashic Records, to help your spiritual growth. So the first myth is you need to have special abilities to access the Akashic Records. The Bible called it the Book of Life. And by the way, it has been referred to throughout history in religions and spiritual luminaries like Edgar Cayce, Yogananda, Rudolf Steiner, the Renaissance man, the occultist in the 1900s. Many of them have used the records quite extraordinarily. So the idea that you have to be a special person like an Edgar Cayce is not true, although mediums and psychics do access the records. You don't have to have special abilities to do so. Anyone can do it with an open mind, maybe a little training and preparation, but it's freely available to anyone. It's an open source. The second myth about the Akashic Records is that there's only one way to access it. There's only one way to get in. Interestingly enough, we've probably all been there, or many of us have been there without realizing it, but there's not one way to deliberately, consciously get into the records, this energetic database, which is really beyond time and space, but very accessible. So teachers of the Akashic Records use their way, which works well, but it's not the only way. So it may be an invocation, it may be a prayer, a visualization, a meditation. And it's good to get a sampling, maybe consider some possible ways or have someone teach you different ways to see the one that might relate most to you. But again, all you need is the right intent, be open to the experience, and maybe a little training too. The third myth about the Akashic Records is it's actually a physical library, that you're going to go somewhere and see a bunch of books in a massive library. Well, let me clarify this, because some things have grains or pieces of truth, but they get distorted in a generalization. So yes, when you go to the records, when you quote see the records, for some people, at least at first, you do see a library. Some people do books or scrolls, a vast library. You may have a guide there too to help you, but all of that is not necessary or the only way to access them, and it may start that way and shift. The idea is it could be a movie screen, it could be like a computer that you're accessing the information, it could be an image, a color, message. Whatever it is, you want to be open to it and let it unfold in the right way for you, and it may change over time as well. So when you go into the records, you may or may not see it as a library. As I said, it may be a story, a computer image, a movie screen, something else. Let it unfold though. This is an important point. You need to just be there with it and let the story, let the images unfold. It's not judgmental, and it's not something you have to analyze. In fact, if you do try to analyze it, you're going to lose the connection, like losing an internet connection. How do you do that? In the records, you lose it by trying to think through it. You want to be in the flow, be flowing, not thinking. You can think later after you exit the records, because it's a place that has information that you need to be in the right state, the right frame of mind in the records to receive it in the right way for you. And as I said, there are different ways to do it, and you don't have to have see a book or have a record keeper, although that may work well for you, and that's fine too. It's pretty open-ended. So the fourth myth, the final myth, is that the records can tell or predict your future. The reason why this is a challenge, just like with oracles, which we also explore in our different trainings and help people with, is the future is fluid. It's not set in stone. It's not cast already. It's being cast by what's happening in the moment, and what you're doing today will influence your future, and what happened in the past influences today, which can influence your future. But you have free will, so there's a lot of choices available. Then there may be things like pandemics, war, natural disasters, things like that, which will influence your future too. So for example, if you want to be healthy, if that's what you're looking at, and you're overeating now and not exercising, well, your future doesn't look too healthy, does it? And if you go into the records, you may find in past lives, maybe you had a lifetime or lifetimes of starving, famine, and in this lifetime now you're overeating and so forth, and it's playing out quite unconsciously, and maybe the records could help you illuminate it. So you don't have one predicted certain future, but you do have possible potential futures, and you can start to guide that and be more intentional and fulfill a positive life and destiny with using the records in an intentional way. So in concluding, I want to address one important piece of understanding the Akashic records and dispelling these myths, and that's the status quo in these higher realities where the Akashic records, Hall of Records, exist outside of time and space, although holding time and space, i.e. your past life, present life, and future potential. So you can't get to the records from here, meaning here is like the CNN reality. Everything needs to be measured, quantified by your external senses, sometimes called materialistic, scientific viewpoint, worldview, paradigm. So you need to go beyond that, and the records contains that. The higher actually contains the lower, the scientific mainstream, which is useful but limited, and the lower, where we are in the physical materialistic world, cannot see the higher. These are spiritual laws that we all are living with, and they're helpful to structure and understand our reality. So you want to open your mind, be in the record, just be in them, flow with them, let them unfold naturally. Don't think, flow. Because if you think, you'll lose your connection, like an internet connection or a Zoom video, or you drop out, you're not there anymore because you're thinking, your mind is editing, interfering, the lower is trying to intrude and take over the higher, and then you've lost the higher. You're not in a higher altered state where the records exist and you can receive all this extraordinary knowledge and wisdom and support. So be in the flow, use your intuition, which is how you get to the records, and you will develop your intuition, which is key, because if you want to go to those higher realities where things are understood and to solve the problems in this reality from a higher reality, as Einstein said, who used to say his imagination is more powerful than the analytical mind. Free yourself, at least temporarily, of your status quo CNN reality mind, which we all have, to open to this higher reality. And if you do so, you access the records, you use them. They're an extraordinary tool, resource, non-judgmental, just there for us all freely to help us evolve, help us understand ourselves, help us become more aware, more of who we truly are at a deeper soulful level. And when you become more aware of yourself at this deeper soulful level, the world opens up in wonderful, loving, creative ways.